love to race well, and I hate failing. And sometimes I feel like the possibility of failing prevents me from racing at my best. Can this be changed?
Anybody?
I guess I have something on that. Probably every bad race I've ever had, I think there's been a point in the race where I've said, it's not my day, I can't do this. And it turns out on those days, it's the day that I didn't race well. But on the other hand, every day that I had a great race, there's been one point in the race where I came out of my comfort zone, stepped outside the box, and I just had a great day and I did something I didn't think I could do. And I think that's where you just have to put those doubts aside and think more positive, and I think it'll come out that day.
That's a good recommendation. You know, one thing that I can share with you guys after like how many years, 30 plus years of working with champion type people, is they have a very high tolerance. They tolerate failure. I think if you tolerated failure and just put up with it as part of the journey, it's part of what happens. All great athletes experience failure, errors and setbacks. I remember Herb Lindsay, who was like the #1 runner in the world back in the 1980s, road racer in Boulder, Colorado. He would win race after race after race, and then one weekend he lost. And I think he lost to this African, Michael Mushioki. And I think it was in the Peachtree, if I'm not mistaken, the big road race down in Atlanta, Georgia. And I went up to Herb and I said, what do you do with that? You know, you've had all these consecutive wins. And he looked at me and said, Jerry, he said, you win some, you lose some. I'll get them next week. And that was his attitude. So people like that. Champions seem to be able to absorb it as a natural part of learning. Your best races teach you a lot, but your failures teach you more. When you have, I can remember some failures in my racing. I learned from that, and I've never made that mistake again. I became a better racer because I lost the race, actually, ironically so. I didn't like it, but I learned a lot. So why don't we look at errors, mistakes, failures, and setbacks as our teachers, as our gurus, ways to learn. So you jump in a race, Britt, and all of a sudden, you know, you're saying your stuff and you still don't have a good race. So what? What did you learn from it? What went well and what needs work? And those are the questions we need to ask, you see? I heard an expression one time, I really keep it with me all the time, is the arrow that hits the bullseye is the result of 100 misses. It's true. You ask an archer, an Olympic level archer, which I have at the Olympic Training Center, I go over to him and say, how do you do that time after time? He said, Jerry, he said, that's the result of thousands of misses. You can't believe how many times I've missed. You know, I get a kick out of people, they read my resume, they go onto my website, and they look at all the things I've done and they say to me, Jerry, that's pretty impressive. How do you have time to do all that? And how did you manage to accomplish those things? And I say, you know what I didn't put on my website, but I'll tell you personally, is everything that you see on there, if there's 5 pages that you're impressed with, I could write at least 15 or 25 pages of my failures that took me to that place. All of my stuff that I've done in my life. My best book, my bestseller right now, is a result of rewriting that thing 8 or 9 times. To say nothing about the rejection. Oh, I can't tell you how many publishers I sent that book to and they said, no, it's not good enough, or no, we can't publish your work. But like a champion, I learned from my mistakes. I would ask them, what's wrong with it and what can I do to better it? And you know, after a while, I write this book and it's now a bestseller in 7 languages, and that's what championships are all about. That's really what you need to do.